I rode every single ride in Disney World in one park day. That is 45 attractions across all 4 Disney World parks in under 18 hours. It was tiring and painful, and I don't recommend it, but I did it, and a lot of the things I learned are things that could be helpful to you when you're trying to make the most out of your Disney trip. So today I am sharing every single tip and trick I used to ride every ride in Disney World in one day, so that you don't have to do that and can still use the tips. First, let's talk about the extra money I spent on top of my park tickets to accomplish this task. Of course, you have to have Park Hopper if you want to go to more than one park in one day. I have an annual pass, which includes Park Hopper. However, if you are buying a date-based ticket, you'll have to do a little bit of an upcharge for Park Hopper. Now, it's actually not too bad because though the number looks big, it is not per day. It's for the length of your ticket, so you just pay one rate, and that counts for every day of your trip. Now, you can't have Park Hopper for one day of your trip and not another. You have to get it for your full length of trip, all your park tickets, but it's nice to have sometimes. If you're gonna use it once, it's good to have the flexibility. So of course you got your ticket with Park Hopper, that's kind of the basics, but to really maximize your Disney trip and to not wait in lines, you might consider a skip the line offering. There are 3 different ways to access Disney World's lightning lanes. Lightning lanes are a separate line that bypass the standby line, typically where the other line could be 25 minutes or 45 minutes or 75 minutes or 3 hours. Your lightning lane will be anywhere between a walk-on or 8 minutes. Sometimes in extreme cases, it can go up to 20, but that's only if the other line is really, really long, so it's always saving you a ton of time. That said, this perk can get expensive and is a bit complicated to use depending on what tier level you get of it, because you do have to buy it per day and per ticket. So everybody in your family, you have to pay for it separately. That's everybody, age 2 and up. So that's a little brutal sometimes. But let's talk about the services and some of the pros and cons of using each. Base level of skip the line offerings in Disney World is Lightning Lane Multipass. This service is priced by date, so depending on the day that you go, it could be a little more expensive or a little bit less expensive, and it is also priced by park, so Magic Kingdom is gonna be a lot more expensive than Animal Kingdom. If you have this service added onto your ticket, it means you can skip the lines at a lot of attractions around Disney World, pretty much all of them except for the very most popular. With this service, you can make reservations for 3 line skips at a time. They are 1-hour return windows for you to skip those lines. You can make 3 at a time, making your first 3 before you confirm purchase, so you can make sure that there's availability for the ones that you want before you buy. And once you use one, you can book another, always having up to 3. In all parks but Animal Kingdom, the attractions are split into tiers, so when you book those in advance lightning lanes, you can book 1 lightning lane in tier 1, and your other 2 have to come from tier 2. That makes it so that everybody has a chance of getting a very high demand ride in their first 3. Booking windows for lightning lane open 7 days in advance for the first day of your stay if you're a Disney Resort guest, and 3 days in advance if you are not. And the service includes Park Hopper, so if you buy it for Animal Kingdom but you're headed to Magic Kingdom in the evening, you can Park Hop over to Magic Kingdom and continue booking rides over there. When I took on this challenge, I used it for Hollywood Studios, and the reason I did that is because Hollywood Studios is the second hardest park to ride all the rides in because it has a lot of popular ones, and I was already using the more premium service for Magic Kingdom. I paid around $27 for Lightning Lane Multipass this day, and that would be per person. And hey, just a heads up, if anything I'm saying about Multipass and Lightning Lane is confusing, you want a deeper dive, I have done a ton of Lightning Lane videos on the channel, Lightning Lane 101s, Lightning Lane challenges, things to really break down the system to help you understand. So go check those out if you need help, because it can be a little complicated. Not as bad as it once was. If you were here in the Genie Plus days, I salute you. Our next Lightning Lane offering is Lightning Lane Single Pass. This is for those most popular rides I told you about that are not included in Multipass. It is a date-based and ride-based fee, so different rides are priced differently depending on their popularity. And this is an a la carte selection. You can buy this with or without Multipass. You can literally just buy one for Flight of Passage and then not buy anything else. It's just a la carte. You sort of pick and choose. The one limit on this is that you can only have 2 Lightning Lane single passes a day, and these are for the most popular attractions in Disney World. It just means that you couldn't book Tron, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and then hop to Epcot and get Guardians as well. You would have to pick only 2 of those. The booking window is the exact same as Lightning Lane Multipass, and during my ride challenge, I used this on Flight of Passage because it is the only Animal Kingdom line that can give you trouble. I went ahead and rope dropped Navi River Journey instead, made it super easy to just go with Flight of Passage. That was $17, again, per person. And I used it for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, as I had used all my other skip the line offerings in other parks, so Epcot kind of a free-for-all for me. And that was $18. The final way to access the Lightning Lanes is with the sort of more luxury offering, and this is Premier Pass. I also used this on my ride challenge day. You can use all of these services at the same time, but it gets pricey. Premier Pass in particular is priced per park and per day, and on the day that I used it, it was around $450 to get Premier Pass for just Magic Kingdom. This service gives you access to every single lightning lane in a park, including the ones that are not available to multipass. So in Magic Kingdom, Tron and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train count here. And you don't have to make timed reservations for them. You can just walk up to a ride at any time and get right in their lightning lane, and you have all the flexibility in the world. It's available all day, including during extended evening hours, but you cannot park hop with this. So that's why I had to stack it with all the other options. It's a great service. It's extremely expensive. I think it's really only for a certain type of person who has more money than they have time, and that might be worth it, but it is expensive. Altogether, I spent around $500 just to skip lines in the park this day, a thing that I simply don't recommend. But you shouldn't try to ride every ride in Disney World in one day either, because it is not as fun as you might think. And you might think it didn't sound fun. I took like 40,000 steps. I could not enjoy the rides. I was just like dissociating on them. Now, 18 hours is a long time to be in the park. Typically, regular park hours are about like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. You might see like a couple extra hours on either end depending on the park, but they're usually only about 12 hours. So how did I get 18 hours to do this? The answer, I used hotel guest perks. So yes, that means I booked a hotel room, and not just any. I booked a deluxe hotel room because Disney has a couple of different tiers of hotel perks. Any hotel guest does get access to early entry. That is 30 minutes of early entry to the park of your choice. Before regular park hours, the lines are shorter, you can get a head start on your must-dos, and you can blaze through most of Animal Kingdom in that time, I'll tell ya. Most folks that travel to Disney do opt to stay in a Disney hotel. You should be taking advantage of early entry. My recommended park day strategy is to use early entry, use that rope drop time, make the most of it, get as many of your must-dos as you can out of the way. Then once it starts to get hot, once it starts to get busy, take a break, have a snack, see some shows, and then go take a nap. And then go back in, hit the fireworks, hit the spectaculars, and if available, stay after said spectaculars for, again, short lines where you can get a ton of your must-dos done. Deluxe hotel guests get an added benefit of extended evening hours. Now, these are not like early entry. With early entry, it's every park every day. Extended evening hours happens for select parks on select nights. Now, they do keep them going constantly, so you will have them during your trip. It just depends what parks will be available. For instance, I've never tried this challenge before in the summer because why would I? It's a billion degrees here. But I had to because I've tried this so many times and failed using extended evening hours in Epcot and Hollywood Studios, and I knew that my success lied in having the extended evening hours at Magic Kingdom. So I waited, and I did it in the summer. And it was hot and it was brutal. But extended evening hours at Magic Kingdom rule. This is a 2-hour window where the park stays open for hotel guests only after park close. They will scan your ticket as you walk up to rides, and you get to ride everything. Everything stays open, almost everything. It's not quite everything. But my big tip with that is if you are using extended evening hours, make sure you look at the hours for the rides you want to do and make sure they're included in extended evening hours, because sometimes things aren't. But so much fun to go to extended evening hours and a great way to make the most of a short Disney trip. But again, you're booking a deluxe hotel room. The cheapest you can do this for is typically around $400, and that's date-based with those hotel rates. So it is a pricey perk, but you also get a nice hotel room. So, you know. Transportation. I push transportation to its limits during this challenge because Disney transportation can be unreliable. Disney has free transportation between all of its parks, all of its hotels, Disney Springs. It's super easy to get around. There's boats, buses, Skyliners, monorails. However, they are operating on their schedule and not yours, which, if you are trying to cram as much as possible into one day, can be limiting and can cause some problems. Or if you are trying to rush from one place to another because you didn't notice the time and your dining reservation is coming up, it can also cause some problems for you. So my suggestion in that case is to say, see you later to Disney transportation, which I love dearly, and opt to use rideshare. Now, of course, you'll have to pay for rideshare, but most rides from park to park or place to place in Disney World are under $10 or about $6 for a basic UberX, and rarely go above $20 even if you're getting larger cars and such like that. It's for everybody in your party, so it is a very small spend and it could save you if something has gone wrong. Obviously, use the free transportation if you can, but if something's gone wrong, pull up that Uber app, pull up that Lyft app, and compare them. Because sometimes Uber's like half as expensive as Lyft, and sometimes the opposite is true. Disney recommends that you leave about an hour to get from point A to point B when you're traveling between parks. That's on Disney Transportation. It is a great thing to know, particularly because there's a lot of walking involved in getting in and out of the parks and a lot of waiting in line to scan your ticket. So allow an hour whenever you have plans to get to that place. Now in my situation, I obviously had no time to spare. So I used a driver. I had a friend, Miranda, whose job was to pick me up and drop me off for most of my transfers during the day from park to park. So I didn't get caught waiting for a boat, on a monorail that's stuck waiting to go into the station because the next monorail hasn't pulled off fast enough or they need to fix a door, or in traffic on the bus. I couldn't make those risks, so I had a driver. That's obviously wild. Why would you do that? Use the rideshare. That's a driver for you if you need it in these dire circumstances. Another option I do want to talk about that I use for this challenge every time and very rarely for anything else that I do for work is the minivan. Minivan is a service that comes from Lyft and Disney partnered together. They are Minnie Mouse themed vans that will pick you up with cast member drivers. Using the Lyft app, you can order these, and they'll drive you from place to place. Now, in most cases, this is the kind of service that is typically used by those who have a little bit more money to burn and don't want to take the bus. Because in most cases, it works exactly like a bus, except it comes at your beck and call, and exactly like a rideshare, except it drops you off a couple of feet away where the bus drops off. The only place that this is different is at Magic Kingdom. At Magic Kingdom, regular rideshare cannot drop off at the Magic Kingdom park gates at the bus stop, can only drop off a mile away across the water at the Transportation and Ticket Center. Then you have to take a ferry or monorail over to Magic Kingdom. I don't have time for that. There's a chance that you might have a situation where you don't have time for that. If the bus isn't coming, you're in a rush, and you have to call a minivan, it is going to be pricey. They're typically in the $40-ish range for a ride that would cost $12 if you were just booking a regular one. But they do drop you off at the Magic Kingdom bus stop steps from the Magic Kingdom park gates. It literally, truly can save half an hour, if not more, doing this. So I do recommend this if you're ever in that specific rush going to or from Magic Kingdom and the bus isn't coming. Minivan can save you. All right, let's talk tips. I've mentioned a little bit rope drop. I started off my morning rope dropping Navi River Journey in Animal Kingdom so that I could be one of the first people on it. You absolutely want to use rope drop to your advantage in Disney World. I know it means an early morning, and that's not for all of us. I am not a morning person. I really struggle with mornings, but it's hard to argue how much you can get done in that first 2 hours of the day and how much more pleasant the parks are before they get crowded and before they get as hot as they do midday. So no matter what park you're going to, go ahead and use rope drop. FryBucket has done a full rope drop guide on our channel that talks about the best strategies for each park, so you can go ahead and check that out right now and weigh if it's the right option for your trip. Another tip I'll say is use single rider. You may have heard me say this before, but I used to think that you had to be at the park alone to use single rider. That's not true. I don't know that anybody else thinks that, but I'm gonna say it just in case I'm out there watching this. You can be with your family in the single rider line. You will just be seated separately. That's key to note. If you get in the single rider line with your brother and your mom, when you get to the front, don't tell them you're with your brother and your mom. You're in the single rider line. You got to a much shorter wait, and now you have to ride separate from your family. If you want to ride together, wait in the normal line, get a lightning lane, but single rider, you can and will be separated. Now, of course, there's times where you get lucky and they need 2 single riders and you get to ride with your brother, but that doesn't always happen. In most cases, if you're willing and able to split up, I recommend using single rider in Disney World. Except we're gonna put a little asterisk on Rise, and we are not going to recommend, cross it out, we're not recommending Rock and Roller Coaster. Don't use the single rider for that one. The asterisk on Rise the Resistance is that single rider does skip a lot of the show experience, which is considered a part of the ride. Do not use single rider for your first experience on Rise the Resistance. I know the line is long. I know the single pass is expensive. We have to suffer for greatness. It's an incredible experience. Once you've ridden it, if you want to ride again, hop in single rider. You can probably get on in under 20 minutes with single rider. It's just that you'll skip a lot of the show and go straight to the actual physical sitting in a ride vehicle portion. Rise the Resistance, the single rider often moves at the same speed of the regular line or slower. So if it's a 45-minute posted wait, you will wait 45 plus in single rider. So get in the posted, stay with your family. It is not a reliable single rider line. A good rule of thumb, if you're using a single rider line, is if the number of seats in the ride vehicle is divisible by 3, then the single rider line will move quickly. So if there's 6 seats, like Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, it's gonna move. If there's 3 seats across, like Rise the Resistance, it's gonna move. Test Track, 3 seats across, it's gonna move. Rise the Resistance, 2 seats across, not gonna move. Most people come to Disney World in groups of even numbers. What can I tell you? One little bonus kind of advanced single rider tip is that when you go in the single rider queue for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, when you come around the corner, you'll see a hallway to your right. There's also a hallway to your left. If it is open, go left. Typically, people don't even look sort of to the left there and know that there's a line there. So all the single riders will go to the right hallway and the left will be completely empty. So if you're using single rider and Falcon, do that. Food, very hard to eat when you're trying to ride every ride in Disney World in one day. Most of it is my friends running and grabbing me food and me grabbing it from their hands as I'm going place to place. But there are a couple of tips I use to have a meal and really maximize my time. For one, I use quick service and I use mobile ordering. Quick service are the counter service options in Disney World. It is you order on your phone, tell it when you're there, it tells you when it's ready, and then you can go and pick it up right at the counter. Typically skips lines at the counter. It's obviously a lot faster than sitting down with a waiter, and you get your food, you get to go sit down. It's great. You also can mobile order in advance. So like if you're really in a rush, while I'm walking to a restaurant, I'll hit I'm here, and then when I get there, my food is already fully ready for me. And another kind of advanced tip here is if you, oh man, I was about to give you my advanced tip of eating on the Liberty Bell. You can't do that anymore. They closed the Liberty Bell. That's wild. That's really crazy. My next big tip is check the forecast. Florida weather is very unpredictable, especially in the summer. A lot of rain, and we are in hurricane season. I think I was in hurricane season when I did this. Just a bold decision, because if those afternoon thunderstorms come, many outdoor attractions will close if there's lightning in the area. It can and will affect ride availability, so this can have a couple of effects on your park day. For me, I simply couldn't afford a ride closing. Almost every time I've done this, we have dealt with some sort of extended closure from an attraction that I needed to ride, and it has contributed to why I haven't completed the challenge. I got lucky in June, and it did not happen. Every ride was open when I needed it to be, but rides can and will go down. Sometimes not weather related at all, and you can't control it. A lot of times it's due to weather. So avoid those outdoor attractions, Dumbo, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, outdoor coasters like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Avoid those in the afternoon in the summer. Don't build your plan around riding those in the mid-afternoon. One, lines tend to be really long around that time. And two, lightning can and will shut those rides down, and that time slot you were planning to use to wait in line for Slinky Dog Dash will disappear. Next up, make a list of your priorities. This is a don't be like me thing. I've touched on it, but this is not fun. Riding every ride in one day is not fun. It is very fun to have accomplished it. The challenge of it is fun, but the physical act of doing it is exhausting, way more stressful than I possibly could have imagined riding Disney World rides could ever be. I lose my mind on this challenge. It's a very silly thing, but it's a cool thing that I've accomplished now. It is a hard day, and it's a cautionary tale because of that. Don't overplan and try to get so much into a day if you can help it. If you have limited time, use the tips in this video, buy your lightning lane, and get ready to rumble, because you gotta get through those must-dos. But in most cases, if you're going on a Disney vacation, you will have more fun if you skip out on a third-tier priority ride and just sit on a bench and people watch and enjoy the environment and have a Dole Whip. If you overplan, the day actually kind of gets worse. There's a sweet spot. If you don't plan at all, bad. You plan a little bit, a good amount, good. You plan a lot, you overplan, plan every second, bad. It's a bell curve. The best way to handle this is to have your family make a list of priorities during the day. Typically, I recommend each person in the family picking 3 priorities that they want to do during their park day. Make sure you do those first, make sure those are tenets of the plan, and then kind of bebop around otherwise. If you got a larger party, have everybody give you one must-do they want to do, or work together to create a list of must-dos. Having those hands down absolutely have to do attractions and experiences means you don't miss any of those, and everything else feels like a nice bonus, and you don't overwork yourself and walk 40,000 steps and find yourself in the middle of the night talking about a mustard packet while eating the first chili cheese dog you've ever ordered from Casey's Corner. I can't get my mustard open.
And our chili cheese dogs.
Can you get my mustard open?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. Relax.
Okay.
I ride every ride in Disney World, and I can open my own mustard packet. Why would I do? I've never had a they have so many things on the menu, and I ordered my first ever chili cheese dog after doing this. That's what this will do to you. This is an interesting tip that I have given on a couple of my ride challenges, but I highly recommend this, and I don't hear people saying it a lot when they give Disney World tips, and that is to use the My Disney Experience app for walking directions. My Disney Experience app actually has a feature where you can select a location, whether it be a water bottle refill station, guest services, an attraction, a restaurant, a show, anything, a character. You can select the location, and on that page, there's a little button that says Get Directions. This will pull up the map and give you a GPS-style directions, just like when you're driving, to walk to that place. Obviously, this is helpful if you don't know where you're going, but I really know my way around Disney World, and I find this helpful because it also tells you the shortest possible path between 2 points. I thought, for instance, for many years, that if I was going from Norway to France in Epcot, which are exactly across the water from each other, it was faster to go left. Turns out, that's very wrong. It's faster to go right. And I learned that from opening the map in My Disney Experience app and seeing what it recommended. So if you don't know where you're going, or just walking a longer distance in the park and want to save yourself some steps, check the walking directions in the My Disney Experience app. All right, a little tip to go with Lightning Lane if you're purchasing it. Do not settle. You're better than that. You deserve better. Don't settle. That's for a lot of things in life, but also Lightning Lane. Always be looking to see if you can get better times. Even with your ones that you book in advance, I like to check every morning as I'm coming up to my trip, and a lot of times I can get better times just by regularly checking. On the day in the park, people are constantly changing, modifying, canceling, using Lightning Lanes, availability is opening up, and you never know what kind of availability you might see. For instance, rides like Slinky Dog Dash or Tiana's Bayou Adventure are often completely booked up prior to the day of, and there have been many occasions where I've gone to that park wanting a Lightning Lane for one of those rides, and I've been able to get one just by keeping an eye on the app and the availability. We've got lots of tips on this in those Lightning Lane videos I mentioned earlier. Something that I did for the challenge was I had Emma at home running my Lightning Lanes. Very helpful because I didn't have to use my phone for that or focus at all on trying to optimize my Lightning Lanes. Instead, I could just run around like a chicken trying to ride everything. And I did run around like a chicken trying to ride everything. And you also want to maximize Lightning Lane multipass by using it early. The earlier you use it, the sooner that you can book more rides. So if you're using your multipass first thing in the morning on a really good ride, you could continue to use multipass all day. And all day you're booking up rides. If you don't use multipass until 1, you can't book any new rides until 1, and that means that you're getting less time to try to get more rides. Now, interestingly enough, for my day, I did actually wait to use a multipass until mid-afternoon, which caused me a lot of stress. I'll tell you, I was really worried that was the wrong decision, but ultimately it paid off and I was able to get everything I needed in Hollywood Studios. The longer the day goes on though, the harder it's gonna be to get Lightning Lanes you want. You know, if you're hearing me say things like Lightning Lane single pass and multi-pass and all these words and you don't know what they mean, don't panic. I've got you covered. We have created our ultimate guide to Lightning Lanes that breaks it all down in plain English, what they are, how to use them, and how to skip the long lines in Disney World. Our team worked really hard on making this guide the easiest for you to understand, and the best part about it, it's free. I love not paying for things. Just scan the QR code you see on your screen now or head to AllEars.net/Lightning Lane to grab a copy. Next tip, be aware of fireworks and parade times. Have you ever been to Disney parks? You know that they can get crowded, even just like in the middle of the day walking through Liberty Square. But boy howdy, do they get crowded during parades and especially during the fireworks. So if you're trying to watch them, big crowds could mean not getting a great spot unless you show up early. If you're not trying to watch a parade or fireworks, you could end up stranded in an area because of the crowds. With a parade, for instance, the parade route is between Frontierland and Main Street, depending on which parade it is, depends on which way it goes. And if the parade is passing you, which can take 15-ish, 20 minutes, you are not crossing that pathway. You'll have to go around the parade or wait for it to end. Fireworks, particularly in Magic Kingdom, make things incredibly complicated because the crowds get so drastic on Main Street USA. The cast members have to change the flow of crowds in the park. You will see lots of cast members telling you to go away that you will think, that makes no sense. I'm trying to go to Adventureland and you want me to go towards Fantasyland from Tomorrowland? Unfortunately, yes, they do. There are areas that are closed for safety, and cast members will be routing you in directions that are for safety and crowd flow. Trust me, the direction they're pointing you is the fastest way you're gonna get there. It just might be more steps than you intend to take, but you really can get stuck taking a long walk because the fireworks crowds pop up. So be aware of those times and just know the areas where those shows happen can start to get crazy around showtime. This is a big one. Avoid backtracking. Now, this is hard to do when you're really trying to maximize. With Lightning Lane, for instance, you sometimes have to backtrack because maybe you rope drop Navi River Journey and your Flight of Passage Lightning Lane isn't for another 2 hours. That happened to me. Sometimes it's unavoidable. And you'll notice that for a lot of our challenges, we kind of zigzag around the park like wild, like crazy. And that's because they're challenges we're trying to maximize. That is the only way to maximize. But you can do a lot by not backtracking. In fact, The walking that you do backtracking uses a lot of time in and of itself, and that time might have been just as well spent waiting in the line that you're right next to. So for time purposes, for your energy purposes, try to avoid backtracking as much as possible. Do it when necessary, but I like to pick a circle to make in the park and just do that circle. It's the easiest thing to do, it's the easiest way to follow the map, and it can mean getting through all of your must-dos in a nice, orderly fashion that doesn't involve taking 40,000 steps in a day. And finally, we talked a lot about priorities, but also know when to skip a ride and come back to it later. There are some rides that will get really long wait times in the middle of the day and then have dramatic drop-offs in the morning and evening. Epcot is a huge offender of this. Spaceship Earth, The Seas with Nemo and Friends, Living with the Land, even sometimes Grand Fiesta Tour. All of these attractions can have 30+ minute waits in the middle of the day. Now 30+ is a really good wait for rides like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, but it is not a good wait for Spaceship Earth. Spaceship Earth will be 5 minutes later in the evening. So will Living with the Land, they will be that in the morning. They might be that in an hour. Keep an eye on them and don't get in those super long lines for rides that maybe don't warrant a wait time that long. Honestly, if you guys would, I feel like this would be kind of a dry video, but if you guys would like a video of me breaking down wait time expectations and when to get in line and when to wait to get in line for all the rides in Disney World, I can absolutely do that, because in some cases, you know, you can kind of just do it by what the wait time says. In some cases, you need to use your eyes. I can talk you through it if that would be helpful, and you guys just have to let me know if you want that, because I do think that's a very nitty-gritty video. So let me know in the comments if that would be helpful to you, and I'll do it. I'd be happy to. I just don't know if you want it. Those are my tips and strategies that I use to ride every ride in Disney World in one day. I am so happy that I've done it. I tried so many times. Fry has tried several times. It is just a really big accomplishment because it is so difficult to do nowadays with all the different factors and all the different rides and the way Disney runs things. And it changes all the time. So on one day it might not even be possible, whereas on another day some rides might be closed and it is possible. It's just, you know, it's hard. I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying the video where I did it. Thank you so much for watching it, and thank you for watching this one. If you're still here, please drop this secret code in the comments so that I know that you made it all the way listening to me babble about how I'm grateful that you watched my video. And don't forget to subscribe. We upload challenges, tips, games, and more from Disney World and beyond all week. Why? Because we're serious about fun here. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.